Okay, so we're recording now. Oh, and I'm going to mute everyone. So if you have something to say, just unmute yourself. There's like a little mute, like microphone looking thing in the bottom left corner of your Zoom screen. So just click like unmute to talk. You can also, there's like a chat feature down here. You can also, if you think of questions or anything, you know, while we're chatting, you can always type stuff in there and we will kind of go through that with you guys too. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen with you and go over a couple quick things. So, okay, can you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so once you, and have you guys, Courtney and Milika, have you looked at the meal plan yet?
Yes.
Okay, so once you get logged in, oops, oh shoot, I clicked on the wrong one. All right, so here are all of your program materials, and every, you know, program that you're doing like in the future too, they'll always, you know, you always have all your program materials right here. So if you click on your starter guide, this is going to pull up how you're going to calculate your bracket and what to find out which bracket you're going to be in. So make sure you like read through all of this. Obviously, you all know how to read, so we're not going to read it to you. Make sure this week at some point you're doing this first step here. It's a hard step for sure, but it's so, so important, especially those pictures. And I would recommend taking them, and we'll talk more about this in the group too throughout the rest of our prep week, but make sure when you're taking them, I know probably right now, because this is how I was when I first started, I was like, there is no way in hell I am ever posting pictures of myself, like transformation pictures, and now I do. So don't think that you might not do it one day. You never know. So take them in like a pair of shorts. I try to do like tighter shorts or a bathing suit, and then either like a tighter tank top, or, you know, if you're comfortable in a sports bra. And you could always do two, you know, like maybe you're not going to feel comfortable sharing like a picture of you in your bathing suit, but you'll wear, like, still take it that way so you have it. But then you can also always take one in like a tighter tank top too. But you just, you know, you really want to be able to see the transformation that your body is going to make throughout the program. So make sure you do that and take your measurements as well. So if you need to like order a tape measure, make sure you hop on Amazon and get that done. Okay, so here is how you calculate your target calorie bracket. So phase 1 and phase 2 and 3 are a little bit different, with more of like calorie deficit in phase 1 than phases 2 and 3. So phase 1 is really that like weight loss phase. Phase 2 is your bulking phase. And then phase 3 is like a shredding phase. So just to kind of give you like a frame of reference. And then, so you'll put your weight in times 11 and then add 600 calories. And then, so this part is important if you're going to be maintaining your weight. So if you have less than like 5 or 10 pounds to lose, you're probably just going to stay here in letter B in your maintenance calories. Or if, I don't think anyone in our group is, but if you're nursing or pregnant, you would also stay in your maintenance bracket. If you have more than that to lose, you'll go down here into your calorie target bracket. Okay. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay, and it might change a little bit as you know, move through. Like for me, when I did my first round, I started in bracket A for phase 1, and bracket for phase 2, I was kind of like on a borderline of B and C with a maintenance category. So I started in B and I was starving. So I pushed myself up to C. And that was like really good for me. So that was like a huge mental shift for me to get over, was the fact that I was eating so much more food than I was used to. But these workouts are intense. Like a little obsessed this week is just a little obsessed. But they're super fun and they're nice because, you know, they're different every day. So, and then you'll see down here whatever bracket you fall into. So like, let's say you fall into plan C, you're going to scroll down and it'll give you your block. Oh, never mind. It doesn't give you it in here. In your, down here in your work program materials under nutrition, it'll give you your eating plans. And in the Google Drive folder that I posted, there's a ton of, you have not checked that out yet, there is a ton of meal planning sheets that you can use that are in there. And those will help you out too in terms of planning. And there's even some sample ones that are already done for you. So if you're not a super picky eater and you want to look at one of those, feel free. But just to kind of give you an idea and for you to have a place to kind of start with all that. The food list, especially if you've done something like 21 Day Fix or any of the other programs, make sure you check it out because it is a little bit different than what you're used to, especially those yellow containers. So make sure that you're checking that out. And then the other important thing that we wanted to touch on with this is your, is your workout block. So within your eating plan, it's going to tell you exactly what containers you need to eat at what certain times during the day. And I just clicked on this one so you can kind of see. So if you scroll down, this talks about the containers. When we get to phase 2, and we'll do another call before then, we'll have what's called a refeed day, which is when you get to eat like dirty carbs. So you get like, you know, white bread. A lot of people would have like a hamburger because you get 2 of them at one meal. So you can have like the whole bun. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, but that's what you'll see those, like these containers in there. So if you, and hold on, I want to pull up like a non-vegan one. Okay, so the biggest thing is this idea of time nutrition. So you want to make sure that you are eating every 2 to 3 hours. You know, there might be times, like there are times in my day, I'm a teacher, where it just physically was not possible for me to do that. So it might have been 3.5 hours, but you really want to make sure you are trying your hardest to stick to that. So if you need to like set timers on your phone, I know that during the summer when I'm off, I will probably need to do that because I won't be on as strict of a schedule that when I'm at work and I have like a lunch break and when my kids go to specials, and those are the times that I eat. So, you know, if you need to be setting an alarm, set an alarm so you're getting yourself into that kind of a routine. So here's an example of what your time nutrition will look like. You'll see that your pre-workout and your post-workout, so your pre-workout here and your post-workout, those have to be eaten within an hour of either an hour before or an hour after working out, or like an hour and 90 minutes. That doesn't make sense. An hour and a half, 90 minutes. The pre-workout meal, those are the only meals like you cannot change around. Like you have to have a green, you know, in this plan, and most of them are about the same for this pre and post workout, but a green, a red, and a yellow. And your teaspoon. Obviously, this is an example. You don't have to eat these things. Your 3 other meals, though, you can switch the actual meal around. So like you could have meal option 2 for your first meal of the day, but you cannot switch these containers. So you have to keep the like container pods together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I know, Courtney, I think you had asked about what we eat on Sunday.
Yeah.
So Sunday is, you still want to be trying to eat every 2 to 3 days. So this is your rest day meal plan, which is your Sunday. Or, if you're not taking, maybe you want Saturday's your rest day, or, whatever, however it works for you. I always just take Sunday. But you have your 5 meals. And the only thing that really changes is, I think you move one of your fruits from your post-workout to one of your meals. So these can be eaten in any order throughout the day. But again, keeping the container pods together. All right. Jess, is there anything else? Sorry, I think I took a lot of.
No, you're fine. The only thing, if you scroll back up, you have a meal option 1 of your regular day, which is that top one right there. They have the baby spinach. It's got your green, purple, red in this particular plan. That meal you can swap out with your pre-workout meal. That's the only thing you can really do. So I know for me, there was days I was waking up at 4 a.m. to get my workout in, and the red, green, and yellow was a little too much. And I think at the time, my meal A was a red and a purple. So I made a Shakeology, and that was my pre-workout meal that day, because it was just lighter on my stomach. But that meal option 1, you can switch with your pre-workout meal. So that's the only thing that can really, as far as your pre and post, that you can do. That was the only thing I thought off the top of my head in regards to the eating plan that we didn't cover.
Okay, so do you guys have any other questions?
Oh, oops. Actually, there's one thing we forgot. There is a point that I know in our last group, we had a couple girls get sick and stuff like that, and they would miss 2-3 workouts. And so when it comes to that, if you do get sick and you can't get to a workout for 2-3 days, you would just pick up exactly where you left off. Now, if you get sick to the point where you miss a whole week of workouts, it's actually highly recommended that you go back to the beginning of whatever phase you're currently in and start that phase over. So it's just something to keep in mind if an injury happens or, sick or anything like that. So kind of the guideline on that, we'll probably address it as it comes up throughout the program. So just something else. I'm trying to think of what else.
And just have fun with it. I know Autumn talks about in the A Little Obsessed workouts, just, that idea of, don't worry about your, how heavy you're lifting at first. Try 1 rep and then start over. Oh, can you do me a favor? Can you grab me those sheets over there that are sticking out? And I'm going to show you something real quick. I would also highly recommend printing out the trackers for your weights. So I did not do that during my first, I did not do this during the first phase, and I really wish I would have, because then in phase 2, when I did some of the same or similar type exercises, I was like, well, I think I used this, but I couldn't really remember. So what I started doing is see these numbers at the side here. So I would flip back to whatever day this is. I can't read it backwards, but this was leg day. So I would flip back to the week before's leg day, and I would write in at the side before I started my workout the weights that I used the week before. So that way when I was looking at my sheet, pulling my weights out, I was like, all right, well, last week I was at 20. And your reps are going to change and your sets are going to change, but just to kind of give you more of a frame of reference. And it was cool then to look back from phase 2 all the way to the end of phase 3 to see the, weight that I had increased. And because sometimes when you're doing it every day, you don't really notice it. So I would definitely recommend printing these out and filling those in as you go.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So how would the meal plan work if, because I have to work out at night, and I just am not able to get up, and I can't depend on myself to get up that early in the morning to work out.
Hmm.
So I guess, I mean, I don't want to eat a big meal if I'm done working out at around 8 o'clock, 8:30 it's going to be. So then how would that work?
So I would say you could either save your Shakeology for then, or you would have one of these little gems, a beach bar. But I would plan whenever you're going to do your workout during the day, whether it's early in the morning, in the afternoon, or later at night, like you just said, Milka. I would like plan your day backwards and map out the times that you're going to be eating the rest of the day. For your post-workout then, you know, I would still try to eat your green, your red, and your yellow. It is a smaller meal. You know, it's not like you're having this meal option too,
Okay.
where you've got like all of this.
Yeah.
And then this would just be like maybe your dinner.
Yeah.
I actually do my workouts at night, so I totally
Okay.
understand where you're coming from. Because I'm trying to shift back to the morning, but reality is I'm the worst morning person. I press snooze 18 times. So as far as setting it up, exactly what Pam said, set up your workout block first. Figure out what time of day you're going to consistently work out. Map your pre-workout meal. Map your post. Things to keep it light for at night. If you are going to be eating it around like 9 o'clock, which I have done plenty of times throughout this program the first time around. I mean, lighter meats, your chicken, spinach is a good light. So just, I mean, you can kind of think to make it a little bit easier. Lighter foods for that particular meal will also help as far as eating later in the day. And then you would just, like Pam said, work backwards to when you should have your first meal. And that would probably be a good day to spread it out as close to like 3 hours as possible, because I'm at work at 8 a.m. in the morning and I try to spread out my food as much as possible. So,
Okay.
And I was going to say too, so then your pre-workout meal, that would be probably your dinner.
Yeah.
You know, like you'd probably still have your dinner with your family, you know, and I would say most people at dinner are probably eating a veggie, a protein, and a carb anyways. You know, so you would just use your pre-workout. That would be like your dinner. And then you know, wait an hour, maybe put your daughter to bed, you know, whatever. And then, or I don't know what your schedule is.
Right. No, that sounds about right. Yeah.
And then you, by that time, would have time to like, you know, drink your Energize and then get your workout in.
Okay.
You know, and maybe even for your yellow, like do a piece of like Ezekiel toast. You know, so it's not like a heavier thing. Like sweet potatoes, or you know, that to me is like a heavier option.
Yeah. Okay.
One thing to cover, if you're not using the Beachbody Performance line, like the Energize, Hydrate, and Recover, as far as that purple goes, for that post-workout supplement part, that post-workout purple would slide into your post-workout meal. So that's another little thing. So if you're not using the performance line, it's nothing to freak out about. They do have it like throughout the packet, a modified way without the stuff there in case, because I know in the beginning, I was using it, and then I tried 2 weeks without it and I got back on it real quick. So
that's how I was. Especially the Recover. Okay, so what other questions do you guys have, and maybe about the meal plan or about the workouts in general?
I mean, if you kind of deviate from like the timed eating, I mean, is that going to kind of make or break everything?
I'm going to venture out to say, like, you want to stick to it as much as possible. When I first started it, I was working 2 jobs. I was a server at night, so my days were like 12 hours long. And then come like Saturdays and Sundays when I was working doubles, it would be sometimes 6 hours between a meal.
Okay.
And I still had pretty decent results at the end.
Okay.
So if you try to stick to it as much as possible, but don't stress out if you, for some reason, hit hour, 4 or, 3.5. Like, this is, I mean, as long as you're sticking to it as much as you can, that's the best I can recommend for that.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I would second that. Try to stick to it as best you can. And, like Jess said, I mean, for me, I do my workouts in the morning. And like my husband literally just walked in the door from work. So we usually don't eat dinner till like right now, 7:30, 8-ish. So that's a long time for me to be awake and eating if I want to eat dinner with him still, which I do. So sometimes I would have to have like a little extra snack, or I would have to push some of my meals more to like 3.5, 4 hours, like those afternoon meals, just to kind of space them out so I wasn't like starving and ravenous.
Okay.
But yeah, and as things come up, just ask questions in the group too. People are going to be, what's cool about this is that everybody's going through the same thing. So it's nice to know, if you're having a question about something, or you're, wondering about a certain move or something like that, it's nice to know there are other people in the group that are probably wondering those same things, and, or going, having those similar thoughts or whatnot.
Yeah. Okay.
Another thing, just to give you all a heads up, Pam, you and I didn't even talk about this yesterday. The beginning of the program, especially the first 2 weeks, depending how you were eating before this program started or anything, you will hit a little bit of a detox phase. I know I did like crazy. I was tired all the time, and I had like a mild headache throughout the whole thing. But once you get past that, and I'll probably put a graphic together and post it in the group in the next week about like what the signs of a detox is, just know it's normal. Your body's getting rid of all that refined sugar and stuff like that. So you will hit about a week to 2 weeks of that. But it's good for you, I promise.
Yeah, and those can sometimes be the hardest times to get through too, I know. And Jess and I were kind of talking about our journey through it the first time. And like phase 2 was definitely the hardest phase for both of us, we had said. For me, phase 1, like you're amped, you're super excited, it's fun, it's new, it's fresh. Phase 2, you're like, oh my gosh, and the workouts were so hard. So, but again, we're all in it together, and just knowing that everyone's still going, everyone is still pushing play every day, really, like for me, really helps. And then phase 3, like I love phase 3.
Phase 3 was good. Good stuff.
And you'll be super sore. Like, I know Laura's not on this call, but she's in our group, Laura. She actually started the program a week ago, and she had messaged me. She was like, I literally feel like I can't walk. Is this normal? Like, am I not like fit enough to be doing a program like this? And I was like, you're fine. That is completely normal. I felt like I couldn't walk for probably almost like 2 weeks. So you will be sore, and just make sure you're taking time for self-care. If you need to do some extra stretching, there's 2 stretching. There's a foam or a roll and release if you have a foam roller. If not, you can pick those up on Amazon. They're not too expensive. And then there's like a stretching routine, or, you all have Beachbody on Demand. There's tons of like yoga things you can do on there. But just make sure that you're taking time, like some extra time to stretch out your muscles and stuff. Don't skip the cool down at the end, but it's not very long. It's usually only like maybe a minute of stretching at the end. So if you need to do more of that, listen to your body. If you're sore, make sure that you're adding that extra piece in.
Epsom salt baths were a lifesaver for me. So I did those probably once to twice a week once phase 2 hit. Because phase 1, I was like, I don't need self-care, but no, you do, definitely, 100%. So those were a lifesaver as well. And my foam roller is now my best friend, basically. So.
And then the other thing, and we'll touch on this too this week, but I really want you guys all to be doing some kind of personal development. I'll be the first one to tell you that I was like, I don't need this in my life. Like, my mindset is fine, blah, blah, blah. But it helps so much, and I can totally tell the days when I like really haven't been doing it very much. So there's a couple books I would recommend off the bat. One is
Miracle Morning?
Miracle Morning. So just how to, wake up and be starting your day with intention. The other one is Darren O'Lean's book. He is the creator of Shakeology, and it's all about like the foods that we eat and the things we put on our bodies and all of that, more of a nutrition-based book. And then the other one I was going to recommend is You're a Badass by Jen Sincero, or Sincero, not Cicero, Sincero. And I listen to almost all of my books on Audible because I just throw it on while I'm like in the shower in the morning, getting ready and stuff. I know a lot of people listen on their way to work, so that's something that you can look at too. I know sometimes for me, it's hard for me to like actually sit down and read a physical book. So it's another option for you, but and you don't have to pick one of those. We'll be talking, like I said, more this week about other options. You want to pick something that's, going to help you personally. We all have different things that we're working on and struggling with. And that's the beauty of kind of coming together as a group. But, pick something. Maybe you want to work on something that's going to help you with relationships, whether that's with, work relationships or, a spouse or something like that. Or maybe you want to book on, raising kids or something like that. It needs to fit you and your lifestyle and, be something that kind of speaks to you. But a huge part of this program is going to be your mental game. And I want you guys to make sure that you're also building your mental capacities and strengths as well. All right. We're just about out of time here. So does anyone have any other, I guess I could stop this share so we can be big. There we go. Does anyone have any other last minute questions or anything? Anything you want to share?
Not so much.
No.
I'm sure they'll come up and I'll just message you guys.
Yeah.
Too. Like other people might be wondering the same thing you are, but not be posting it. So if you have any questions, just make a post in the check-in app and we'll answer them. And that way,
Okay.
too. So.
Yeah.
Sure.
And, just when you guys do your workouts, feel free, you don't have to just say, booty day. You can, tell us about your workout. Was it hard for you? Was there something you struggled with? Did you feel like you kicked ass in that workout, Or maybe there was a move that you had been modifying and, today's the day that you did 2 reps that weren't modified. Just little things like that just to, again, the more that you, put into the group and the more that you participate in the group, the more that, you're going to get out of it and the more that everybody else will get out of it too. So. Ready?
Yes.
All right. So I will post this call too for the people that weren't. Oh my gosh. Oh no, I did record it.
Yeah.
Okay. I was shoot, and you even told me to.
One last thing that we touched base on yesterday that we didn't. I know I've been asked this by somebody in regards to doubling up on workouts. If you're not going to want to, and it's not recommended. These workouts push you as hard as they could push you in the right ways. You are good with 1 workout a day. There's no need to do booty day twice because, you want a booty or something, but just do it
It'll
once.
come.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, just do it once and trust me, you'll feel it the next day and you'll be glad you didn't do it twice. So just do round 2 at the end of it.
Yeah. And if you I know Jess talked about this earlier, if you missed a day for whatever reason, life happens. Do your best to do what you can when you can. Obviously, you're making a commitment to yourself and to this program and you want to try to do it. But if you get sick or, your kid is up all night throwing up, you might not be in the best frame of mind the next day, but, try to do it anyways, do it for you. Think about that why, why you decided to make this a priority in your life. All right.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Get excited. It's almost here. All right. You guys have a good night. And
You too.
we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.